In order to demonstrate my understanding of the tools that we have learned throughout our Education 517 course, I decided to create a lesson plan that I would potentially do with 5th grade students that incorporate all of these different resources. So the topic that I would include these resources into would be what is going on in our community. And I think that this is something that is important for all students to know, but particularly 5th grade students, because this is kind of the time where they are starting to be in the community more and they're starting to have an understanding of what is happening around them, and just getting them together in a collaborative manner, talking about these things and presenting them through the technological resources that we have learned about in this class, I think is something that could potentially be a wonderful opportunity. So the lesson would start with introducing this topic, and that would be done by showing the students a screen, and I would ask them a question: what are some of the challenges that we face in the community? And so these pictures kind of ignite the ideas of what is happening here in San Diego. This could be adopted to wherever a teacher is teaching. However, for San Diego, here are a few of the things that are the issues in our community. And so I would allow them to think about those pictures and then also think of some things on their own, because they're going to be brainstorming these things with their collaborative groups. And so after I kind of have them think about that and process it in their own ways, we would move on to the main portion of the assignment, which is where do we go from there? And basically I would tell the students that we have to inform. So we are trying to inform people about the issues that are going on, and the ways that we are going to inform them, we are going to be using the technological resources that we have learned about in this course. So basically, I'd be breaking up students into collaborative groups. They would brainstorm the issue that they would want to do, and then they would collect data, collaborate, and build a presentation to inform the people of the issue. And so I have a few different components of what is required in this assignment that specifically specifically include the a few tools that we have learned about in this course. So the first tool that my students would be using would be Twitter. And so they would start with Twitter, obviously. They would use the Twitter search bar to discover current issues in the San Diego area. They would take collaborative group notes with Google Docs. And if they have trouble with the Twitter search, I included a video that they could dive into and just figure out what it means to use Twitter, because a lot of younger people may or may not know how to use Twitter, but however, it is something that is so important as we have learned to get a better understanding of what's happening in our area. So from there, my students would then be using Google Forms to create a survey. And so they would create a survey with Google Forms to gain an understanding of what the class knows. I think this is really important to see what their classmates understand about this issue, so that way they can learn what they need to inform their audience on. So they would then use the data to drive what they need to inform their community on. They don't want to just be creating a presentation or a blog on random ideas. They need to know what their audience doesn't know. And Google Forms does a great way of either anonymously or knowing who the person is, giving them a survey so that way they can give their ideas, and it gives students a direction to go in. So then after they do that survey, the final piece of their project would be to include either one of these resources that we have used in our class. And so students can now inform others. They can either choose to use Weebly or they can choose to use Screencast-O-Matic. With Weebly, they would create a website on the issue that their group has selected, and they would connect to their audience through multiple blog posts. So through this website they have created, they can each take turns reading blog posts. They can designate different parts in collaboration, because this is a website. It can be worked on in multiple places at multiple times. However, it is getting them used to working with another person and just trying to incorporate a lot of different ideas. And then from there, they would publish the link of their Weebly to the Google Classroom, and hopefully one day people could eventually read their ideas on the issues that are happening in their area as well. The students also, I think it's important to have autonomy and have choice in what they do, and so I would offer them the option to use Screencast-O-Matic, and with this they could build a presentation that informs the audience on the issue, and then use something, create a presentation very similar to this, and use Screencast-O-Matic to record multiple group members presenting. And then from there, they would upload it to YouTube and publish the link to the Google Classroom. So, with that being said, I am applying the tools of Twitter, Google Forms, Weebly, and Screencast-O-Matic in this lesson that I have created. Throughout the course of this course, we have learned to use several resources, and I think that it definitely, obviously, I know that it is possible to include all of these different resources in different ways and for them to have a meaningful impact in what we are teaching our students, because they're going to be using these things in their life, and so we might as well be using them in the classroom. So this is just a glimpse at how I would use some of these resources in my classroom. Obviously, I would have them be used in different ways and students would be familiar before starting this project. But if it were new, then I would break down the resource and show students how to use it before giving them the project. But with that being said, this is how I would apply the tools that we have learned throughout this semester, throughout this term, to an assignment that I would potentially give my students. I am Welge, and thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation.